What's up, cool kids, and welcome back to the Langston Fraser Show podcast. I'm your host, Langston Fraser. Another week, another episode, a brand new year. Literally, happy 2021. And as you know, it is Tuesday because that's the day we release our episodes. So if you're new, welcome to the show. And if you're returning, welcome back. This is a golf related podcast where we get to sit down with some of the most interesting and upcoming names in the game and outside the game of golf to hear some of the most impactful stories affecting the industry. So I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you get to come along with this ride with me. If you didn't check out our last episode of 2020 with none other than superstar Maurice Allen of the World Long Drive Stage, I highly suggest you check that out, as well as our other episodes. But this week we sit down with none other than Abby Parsons. Welcome to the Sports Update. 2021 is underway, and there's no shortage of great sports going on around the country. NFL, we finally reached the wild card week. I'm looking forward to a couple matches this week. The Washington football team and Tampa Bay is going to take place on NBC at 8:15. I'm looking forward to that game. Why? Well, because I'm a local DMV guy, and that's my football team. So I'm looking forward to the Washington matchup. I'm also looking forward to the Baltimore-Tennessee matchup. That's going to be taking place on the 10th. And really good matchup between the LA Rams and the Seahawks. That's also going to be a very good match. But, at the end of the season, there typically going to be some coaches that are not going to get their contracts renewed. And let's just look at some of the head coaches getting the axe. The Jets coach is out, Jaguars is out, and the Chargers are out. But that's okay. But guess what? I think they're going to be all right. So you scroll down the list, Jets is also out, Texans is also out. But there's a whole bunch of head coaching positions that are open, and they're going to get filled quick. There's a whole bunch of qualified people, so I wish them nothing but the best. Let's turn to a little hockey news now. Hockey is going to be underway, and they're going to actually split up all four divisions into kind of smaller pods, so everybody's safe with COVID-19. So we'll see what happens on that end. But obviously, I'm a Washington Caps fan. It's going to be a really good time, just for any sports for that matter. So we'll see what happens there. But they're going to be in four divisions. I think that's the most important. They're going to start, I think, the 15th or 16th of January, and they're going to be playing 56 games. So a little shorter schedule than normal, but it still should be a good one. And in golf news, a whole bunch of golf news. Obviously, the top of the year, it's nothing but new releases for new clubs, new products. Something, if you're a part of the PGA, have you heard of it? The PGA Merchandise Show typically takes place in Orlando, Florida. It's going to be online, all virtual this year, so I'm super excited to attend that virtually on the 25th through the 29th. That's going to be really exciting to see what they kind of do with the stage of the game, because that's typically a live in-person event. And also some other golf news. Golf equipment is coming out left and right. Callaway is going to be releasing new stuff. PXG, TaylorMade is going to be releasing new stuff. So check out and stay locked on the social medias and the different apps and players of the games, because they're going to be dropping some big stuff soon. And also, John Rahm made a really cool announcement, a multi-million-dollar deal with Callaway Golf. That not surprising, because he while he was at ASU playing with Tim Mickelson, Phil Mickelson's brother, he was all with Callaway playing clubs there. So that's going to be a really cool time. In kind of NBC news, the new show, obviously Morning Drive, ended its run in December of 2020, but they debuted their brand new show called Golf Today actually yesterday. So I'm super excited to see where that show is going to go. They have a new couple of hosts and analysts. Sam Bacon is going to be on co-hosting with my good friend Damon Hack, and also Anna Whiteley comes back, switches over from the morning drive side, and comes on the new show Golf Today. And Jimmy Roberts is going to be on the show as well. And then brand new sponsorship deal for Golf Central, which is kind of like their new show, sponsored by Callaway. So Callaway is really stepping into the game. They have a lot of stake in the game right now. So we'll see where it goes. But those are your sports headlines. To get caught up on anything you might have missed this week in sports, visit NBCSports.com, or for golf news, check out golfchannel.com and Golf Digest. This is a really special episode. It's not only our first episode of the new year, 2021, but it's also this week's guest, Abby Parsons' birthday. She turned 23 on the day we recorded this episode on the 29th, but due to some technical difficulties, I couldn't release the episode last week, but we're releasing it this week. So buckle up. It's a great episode. And right after we hear from our sponsors at Anchor, we're going to dive into the next episode of The Langston Fraser Show. Okay, guys, we're here for the interview. What you've been waiting for. We have a very special guest. I booked her on her birthday. Abby Parsons is a former D1 golfer. Her personality is infectious. Her smile is even better. And hands down, she's probably one of the best female left-handed golfers I have ever seen in my life. Abby Parsons, welcome to the Langston Fraser Show podcast.
Oh, God, what an intro. That was awesome. Well, I don't know how many lefty girl golfers you know, but I'm so flattered. But
I know, like, none.
There you go. So that's good. That's good.
Well, thanks for spending your birthday with me. Happy 23rd birthday. I'm surprised your people were able to book the show on your birthday.
No, I would not want it to spend it any other way. I am so flattered to be on the show.
Welcome. So how was your Christmas? I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was great. It was super fun. I got to spend some good time with some family friends, and it was nice and chill, get away from the golf course for a little bit. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. How was yours?
Good. I had a relaxing kind of Christmas break, I guess you want to say. My parents are 20 minutes of each other. So, I spent the morning with my parents and the afternoon with my dad, and I guess double Christmas, I guess is what it turned out to be. And came home, ate well, slept really good. But yeah, that was my Christmas. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad you're here. And so this is my birthday gift to you. You get to hang out with me.
Best birthday ever. Oh my God.
Wonderful. So most important thing, how's like your family? How's the folks doing?
Everybody's good and healthy. Everybody's staying safe in this crazy time. But my parents are actually in Minnesota right now. They just got a blizzard the other day. So I've been getting a lot of pictures of that. A lot of pictures of my dog in the snow, which I miss her so much. Shout out to Molly. And then I have an older brother in LA and a twin brother in Minnesota, and they're both doing really well as well. So they're living it up. They're both working hard. My twin brother actually is a sports broadcaster for a local radio in Minnesota, and then my older brother is in like the film and TV industry. So we work with animation right now. Yeah.
Interesting. Really very fun. Very cool. We'll kind of get into that later, because me and Abby, if nobody knows, we've worked together before, so we're good friends, and we're golfing buddies when we get the time to play golf with each other. So I typically start the podcast where you kind of let us know where you're from, but where are you originally from, and describe it in 3 words and why.
Okay, so where I'm originally from. Okay, so I'm originally from Pinehurst, North Carolina.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard of it. Pretty much only golfers have heard of it. If you don't know anything about golf, we're usually like, where the heck is that? And then I do I describe Pinehurst in 3 words. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so golf, um, history, and um, let's let's go with this. Oh, that's 2 words. Oh, cookout. There's a dash in there. Okay, so
Ooh.
yeah,
So
cookout,
so cookout, like as far as like cookout like grilling, or like cookout the restaurant.
the
Like there.
restaurant.
Okay,
I
I was about to say, it's like, so if anybody doesn't know, you're not from like past the Mason-Dixon line and like down pushing into Florida. There's like cookouts everywhere. It's
Yeah,
super cheap. They have like burgers and hot dogs and the best shakes. I've made
so
too
good,
many trips there at school in like 2 o'clock in the morning. It's literally the
so
best.
good. The best, the cookout tray, the best deal in fast food industry. Oh my goodness. So golf obviously is a given for Pinehurst. Like there's 47 golf courses in that county. So I mean, I grew up literally golf was in just about all my friends' backyards, and so there's that history. It's kind of correlated with golf. There's a lot of golf history in Pinehurst. There's golf statues all over the resort and whatnot, and it's really cool. It feels like a lot of people say you kind of go back into time when you visit Pinehurst. It feels like that, which I
Right.
totally agree. And then Cookout, obviously, arguably the best fast food chain ever. So I think about Cookout all the time because there's one just outside of Pinehurst called Aberdeen, and it is so good.
Nice. Nice. That, man, it's been a long road with cookout. I told myself, don't go to cookout, especially when I was going back to school like in August. Yeah, first place I stopped. When I got back on the shore, I went straight to
Oh,
cookout.
I
It was
haven't
a
been in
lovely
so
time.
long. I haven't. Well, I mean, so my golf team, we would travel to Pinehurst at least once a year for a tournament or for our spring training. And
Right.
every time I would beg my coach, I'm like, we need to go to Cookout. Like, no
Right.
matter
I don't
what
want
we do,
anything else. Just
yeah,
like
at
one
least
time.
one trip to Cookout. At least get me a milkshake and some cheese fries, and I'm good to go. And so
Exactly.
he made sure every time we went to Pinehurst, we went to Cookout, and I was like, thank you, Lord. So freaking
Our golf team, what they did before we got a new coach, their favorite thing, we never traveled north. We always went south for um, golf tournaments. And their thing was the first thing you get on the road, they're stopping at Krispy Kreme. That was their thing.
Oh yeah.
But they
I
didn't fly. They didn't fly. They didn't like take trains. They always drove. So like the first place they had to go was hit like Virginia Beach, right there, Krispy Kreme.
Krispy
Amazing.
Kreme is so good. I actually have a funny story with Krispy Kreme too. When I was a freshman, we were in Jacksonville for some golf tournament, and we were driving home from dinner, and there was a Krispy Kreme, and my teammate in the front seat, in the passenger seat, was like, "We have to turn around." And my coach was like, "What? What's wrong?" And she was like, "We just passed a Krispy Kreme with a hot sign on," and so we turned and went. And I swear I probably had like 4 donuts. It was so good.
Oh gosh. Donuts. Well, you touched on it like kind of an interesting topic, or kind of getting into it. You played collegiate golf at Boston University.
Mm,
Go Terriers!
Terriers, baby.
But like you had quite a run. So tell us about your kind of your I guess your former D1 golf life. Well, I guess a recently D1 golf
Yeah.
life, in your journey through that whole process.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like washed up now. I graduated in May, but it was honestly the best 4 years of my life. Like, first of all, going to school in Boston is one thing. Like, it is an amazing experience. I think everybody needs to visit Boston at least 20 times in their life because it's just amazing. I love it
I've
so much.
never gone.
Oh my gosh.
So I
Thanks,
need to go one day. But my
Ted
sister, like way back in the day, her dream college was, I think, Boston
College.
College. Yeah,
Eh,
Boston College.
That's my rival school. My twin brother actually ended up going there, so we ended up being rivals.
Ooh,
Yeah, I know we were together in the womb, and then we were pretty close to each other in college too.
there you go.
But yeah, I mean, going to school in Boston was one thing. It's a really good education. It's a really fun college town, but the BU golf program has grown so much since I was there. Like my freshman year, I could comfortably shoot 78, 79, and I would be like top three in the lineup, just like
Right,
chilling. By my senior year, if I was shooting 75, I would be playing 5 or 6 in the lineup.
right,
It was a grind. We got such good players along the way, but I mean, it was great. I got to travel all over the country, play all sorts of golf courses, meet unreal people. A lot of our donors, I'm good friends with them now. Like it's really great to make connections and stuff, but and my teammates were just the best. Like I love my teammates so much. I try to keep in touch with them as much as I can, but it was really good. It was a really good experience. Of course, being a D1 athlete is also really, really hard, and there's a lot of hardships you have to go through, and stress and anxiety, and you have to see a sports psychologist from time to time.
Right.
Just like throwing that in there, but like it is so worth it. It was great. It was really, really awesome.
Good. So, what did you get your degree in when you graduated in May?
So I got my degree in journalism with a focus in broadcasting. So not really what I'm doing now.
Which is funny you lead into that because I told Abby and a lot of my friends know this. I'm in a PGA golf management program. If you've been sleeping on a rock for like the past year, I say it in like every episode. I went to golf school basically to become a golf professional and then get into journalism. And Abby is basically doing the exact opposite.
I am doing the exact opposite. I wanted to go into broadcast journalism and I'm out and I'm doing like going through all the PGA stuff. So it feels like I'm in grad school right now. But yeah, I'm literally doing the opposite that you did. But I mean, a part of me will always love communications and being in journalism and broadcast journalism. And maybe down the road, I can see myself going back into it, depending on where life takes me. But it just seemed like the right thing to do for me right now is being an assistant pro. Like I grew up in the golf business, and so I'm super
Right.
comfortable with it. And especially with how crazy the time is right now, like it's really nice to do what I do, and I love it so much. Like I love instruction, I love working in golf ops, like, and I work at two really cool places, so I am very blessed.
Right. So before we get into like your two places of employment,
Yeah.
if they don't already know you, let's jump into are your parents in golf? Is that how you kind of got into golf, or was it kind of like the family thing, or like what kind of sparked your interest in golf?
So I grew up with my dad being the director of golf at it's called National Golf Club. Now it's called Pioneers Number 9. Pioneers bought it when I was a senior in high school. So the name transition, and he went from director of golf to general manager there. So I grew up in Pinehurst, like playing any Pioneers course I wanted, whenever I wanted, just for funsies, just go tee it up on number 2 on a Thursday. Why not? Let's
Right.
go. Number 8 the next day, and then go back to first. But I played National Golf Club now, finish number 9 like roughly 1,000 times, and
There you go.
it was really, really awesome. So he got into it. He tried the mini tours after college, and then he became a golf pro, and so that's how he got there. But my parents met in Tampa actually. My dad's from Wisconsin, my mom's from Virginia, so Tampa's neither of their homes.
Right.
My dad was a golf pro at this golf course, and my mom was at a Christmas party at that golf course, and my dad was there like helping to host and whatnot, and she thought he was super cute. Didn't say a word to him, but then got golf lessons from him because she thought he was super cute.
Oh, that's
I know.
adorable.
And then after the first lesson, I believe it was either right after the first lesson or right before the second lesson, my dad called her and asked her out on a date, and then the rest is history. So like my mom doesn't golf
Wow.
anymore though. My mom basically got my dad and then stopped golfing. So once she got the bag secured, is when
She was like, okay, we're good. Let's keep
she's like, I'm
moving.
good. I don't need to golf anymore. Like it's fine.
Wow.
Yeah. And neither of my brothers really golf. Like my older brother played golf competitively. Didn't really want to play college golf or anything, but he was really good. And then my twin brother was baseball, football. So I'm like the golf child of the family.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Very nice.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
you have an older brother and a twin brother, which is kind of like it's weird because I guess people technically call us twins, even though I'm not a twin, I'm a triplet. But I have a sister who
Mhm.
doesn't play golf at all, and we went to, I guess, rival colleges within like the same, I guess, school system or university
Yeah.
system. So I don't know. It's kind of cool that our lives kind of like intersect and are kind of like the same but
Yeah.
different.
They're so similar.
But that's really cool. So we touched on like your college kind of golf game,
Mhm.
but you had like some really cool chances to do some internships. Where have you been?
Yeah, so let's see. My just like freshman and sophomore year, I just kind of worked at my dad's golf course, and so that was kind of like my work in the summer. But then summer before my senior year, is when I interned at the Golf Channel.
Oh,
um,
hi.
oh my gosh,
Hello.
that's a crazy coincidence. Yeah, and Langston also works at the Golf Channel, so that's how we know each other. But yeah, it's kind of weird. So Savannah and I, Savannah Thompson works in the Golf Channel. She was the PA for the instruction department, in the Golf Channel, so like School of Golf, Golf Channel Academy, all that fun stuff. Um, I always wanted to work for the Golf Channel, and that's why I majored in broadcast journalism. I was like, Golf Channel is my end goal in life.
Right?
Yeah, this is
Exactly.
what I want to do. This is it. I love speaking and I love speaking about golf. So let's put it together. And that's broadcast journalism Golf Channel. And so I texted her because I played junior golf with Savannah growing up. She grew up in Pinehurst as well. We played against each other all the time. Um, we played against each other in high school a lot as well. So, I mean, I knew her pretty well, but we kind of lost touch when she graduated high school. I didn't really talk to her very often at all, like maybe
Right.
a year, not even. And so when the time came around to me like wanting to apply for Golf Channel, I reached out to her for advice and stuff, and she told me how to apply for the internship. And then she was like, "Hey, if you get this, you want to live with me? Like, we have an extra room, like go for it." And I was like, "Okay, like I'm not gonna get it, but thanks, girl."
Right.
And then I got the internship, and she's like, "Oh, what department are you in?" I didn't know what department she was in at the time. Like, I didn't know anything about Savannah's
Right.
job. And I was like, "I'm in the instruction department. Like, what does that even mean?" And she was like, "Oh my God,
Thank God.
that is my department." It's like, "Oh no." And so we ended up living together and working together the entire summer. We obviously became inseparable. If you saw me, I was with Savannah. If you
Right.
saw
Like, here
Savannah,
comes 5 steps behind. Here she comes.
yeah, like it was just we were glued together at the hip, and now we're like best friends. That internship like brought me to my soul sister. It is amazing. We talk every day now. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, the instruction department at Golf Channel was a lot of fun. I worked pretty closely with Langston. We were side by side at our desks.
Right. We were
Yeah,
desk buddies
we
in
were.
the newsroom.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of fun. They allowed me to travel in my job. I worked with a lot of cool people. I got to meet a lot of cool people. It was a super fun job. Like I have no regrets doing that. It was every day. I looked forward to working every day, and it was really fun
Right.
every day. It was awesome.
I would say that job is probably like really rewarding, and I would say for like fans of the show and of the network, um, I think people don't really realize how much work goes into
Oh,
TV shows or
mhm,
podcast or like just the everyday stuff, the social media
mhm.
department. Like it's a whole crew. Like now they've downsized and they've moved up to NBC Sports.
Yep,
You know, thoughts out to everybody who lost a job during this whole
yeah.
pandemic thing. It didn't really help anybody in this case, and they lost like a lot of great people.
Mhm.
And hopefully they find jobs because everyone in that building deserves a job, hands down, no questions asked.
Mhm.
But a lot of goes into it, and it really gives you kind of a perspective of what happens behind the scenes. In I would say, from my personal view, that was my second internship with Golf Channel,
Mhm.
and I loved it so much that I went back.
Mhm.
But it just shows you, you know, the environment. It's a really cool place to work. And it's really cheesy, but golf really does connect. That was like the hashtag of like Golf
Yeah,
Channel
no,
is
for
Golf
sure.
Connects. I still think they reached that mission pretty well.
Mhm.
Their main goal is connecting the world to golf. And seeing it for so many years and having all the golf in the world from instruction to equipment come to one place, it's really really cool, and it kind of gives you a perspective on, you know, how the operation works. But yeah,
It was.
that's kind of what we did.
Mhm.
She did instruction, I was on the news side of Golf Central, and we kind of flip-flop. Their internship program is really really good. um, if you're going to do an internship there, especially now that they moved up to NBC Sports in Connecticut, which is their parent company, which their broader company is NBC Universal, Comcast. Definitely apply for the internship. It's probably hands down one of the best internship programs for a media person. If you want to talk golf and do media, that's where you go.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
I highly suggest it. If anybody wants to go there, we still do have connections. So like, if you need help, let us know. You know,
Mhm.
once they basically said like, once you're in, your family, and if you ever need anybody to get help, like professionally or personally, reach out to us, and been that way for me. I know it's been that way for you since you've left there.
Yeah.
But yeah, we went to Golf Channel. Fun
Yeah.
time.
It was, I mean, I always felt like we were never not doing anything. Like we were always working.
Oh
We were
yeah,
always
always
not,
working.
but it still felt so fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it is honestly the most fun you'll have. It is great.
That I agree. Like the hours are wacky. What we
Yeah.
do is really wacky, and sometimes they just don't tell you what you're doing. And then you look, 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the road, and you're seeing like what you did. Like, oh, I
Yeah.
researched this clip and this clip, and you sat there for 6 hours researching clips and whatnot.
Yeah.
And here it is on a show that no one could talk about at the time, or a project that nobody could talk about, and then the whole world seeing it.
Mhm.
It's really cool to see. And I don't know about you, but I can't look at the shows the same way now because I've worked on the shows.
I can't either. I can't
It's
either.
so strange. And I sit there with my dad. And if anybody doesn't know, I worked on Morning Drive, my first internship, and they just ended their run after about 10 years, which was like the most heartbreaking thing for me to watch.
Mhm.
I actually recorded the episode and watched it twice. Got halfway through like the third run, and I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. I had to stop
Oh.
watching it. I was like, okay, I had to stop watching. I'm gonna
Mhm.
cry again. But yeah, you look at the show differently, and the people are really, really cool. But hey, they're starting a new show, Golf TV,
Heck yeah.
or Golf Today. I'm sorry, airing June 4th. So free plug. Make sure you go watch it.
Exciting. Yeah, I'm so excited to see it.
So, after you leave Golf Channel, you got another, about a year-ish to finish up. Fall semester is fine and dandy.
Mhm.
You just happen to win a couple championships in the middle of that
Yeah.
at Boston U.
Mhm.
And then March comes and you're in your senior season. And as the rest of the golf world, this whole girl named Rona came up and took everybody's freedom away. And it canceled your remainder of like the last like 6 weeks of your senior golf season.
Mhm.
How was kind of that experience? What did it like bring to you? What did you learn from it? Going into your role now.
It's I will try my best not to get emotional talking about this because it's still like really, it's crazy that it happened. So you're right, it happened in March, and my spring season was going so well. VU Golf was playing its best golf ever. 2 weeks before, we played the Kiowa Island Classic, which is the largest golf tournament in the country. There's 50 teams there, 50, and we were in the lead after the first two rounds,
There
and
you go.
we were like, VU Golf, let's go. And then our next tournament, we played in a really good field. It was at UNCW. We were in the lead after the first two rounds. We finished second twice, but anyway, we were playing our best golf. Like it was awesome. And then we were going into our next tournament. So it was spring break, which we have a golf tournament then. Spring break was at Pinehurst, North Carolina. So I was going back to my hometown. Which, side note, I now live in Minnesota, so I don't get to go to Pinehurst very often. I only
Right.
go for golf tournaments. So we were in Pinehurst. Corona really, it was crazy how quickly things happened with Corona.
Yeah.
Because as we were flying there, it was like Corona's a thing. But masks weren't a requirement. Like we could still fly
Right.
easily. Like everybody was still flying. We wore masks as a team at the time, and we thought like we were all taking selfies in masks. Like look at us, we're wearing masks. And now it's so normal. But yeah, and we went to Pinehurst, and we lasted, I believe, we had 2 days of practice or so. And this was directly after the UNCW tournament. We
Mm-hmm.
had 2 days of practice, and then it started really looming, and we were like, oh my gosh, what if the season gets canceled? Like that would be crazy. And they're like,
Right, but they're not going to do it though. They're not
yeah,
going to cancel it,
exactly.
right?
We're like, oh, school go online, big whoop. And so we got the email that school was going online for, I think they had us doing it for a month. They're like, middle of April, we'll go back into in-person class.
Right.
And so me and my team were like, oh, that's kind of nice. Like it'll be way easier to go to class and stuff, like and traveling with golf. And then we started realizing that, what does this mean for golf? What does this mean for traveling? And so some conferences started to shut down like that. Like
Oh,
the next day,
yeah.
they were just like, nope, nope, nope. And we were like, oh no, is our conference going to do the same thing? We went to bed after a second night in Pinehurst, and my coach got us all for a meeting early in the morning the next day. He was like, let's all meet at breakfast, just kind of talk about what's going on. That's when he tells us that Patriot League, my conference, is closing sports the rest of the season. Everything's done. No more travel, no more golf, no more nothing. And
Right.
we had 4 seniors on the team on a 7-person team. So over half the team was seniors and over half the team was like, this is it, we're done.
Right.
And it was just, and the fact that it was in my hometown, just like sitting at this hotel and just eating breakfast together. And then he was like, yeah, we're done. That's it. This is where, I'm sorry, this sucks, like all this stuff.
That's what happened to us too. Our
Mhm,
school, like full disclosure, I'm not on the golf team, but I'm an SID
mhm.
basically for the golf teams.
Yeah.
Um, they were in Daytona Beach, Florida, playing in the golf tournament. I think with Bethune-Cookman University.
Oh,
And I think I still to this day I'm trying to figure out what happened. I think they were on the golf course. They teed it up that morning, um, and their season got canceled right up
mhm.
right up under them. It was
Yep.
insane. Um, and obviously at the time we were supposed to go on spring break. So obviously it's like spring break. Our president was like, okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna do spring break for 2 weeks. So we're like, okay, cool, great, fine. We're gonna go back. No big deal. We had, I think, one senior on the time who just literally graduated like 5 days ago, and never teed it up again in maroon
Mhm.
and gray, which like sucks. And
Yeah.
it sucks for me because with the person that kind of reports on golf, my senior season kind of got cut too because I was like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going on a couple trips with the golf teams. Like, we just kind of consolidated the golf team, one coach, 2 teams. I was basically in charge of golf,
Yeah.
going on a couple trips, blah, blah, such and such. Nope, done.
Mm.
And I think a lot of Division One golfers, and I'll say a lot of the golfers kind of on the golf scene, were kind of thinking, why golf?
Yeah.
After we kind of looked at like the whole, cause of everything, we're like, okay, we're on a golf course, socially distant.
Yep.
Why are we not playing? And I think
Mhm.
that's still, the question to this day. A lot of collegiate golfers are not playing. I know the bigger conferences are
Cool.
playing.
Yeah.
Um, but these smaller conferences, nope. They were like, everybody's done. And I
Mhm.
think a lot of teams, um, going up into this upcoming spring season, we're like, okay, we'll play basketball or football or case may be. We were gonna play in like 4 days before they were set to start the basketball schedule, which would be technically like in like 6 or 7 days. They
Mhm.
canceled the season. They
Oh,
said they're not playing at all.
brutal.
So, well, I feel bad for all you guys, and like, kind of, what are your thoughts on it? And Kendra, you're not tied up to anybody as far as golfing wise now. What's your thoughts on it?
It's especially, I feel like golf was kind of the first professional sport that came back during COVID, and it kind of proved to us like I think there still is a possibility for us to finish the season. Now, at that time, we were so ignorant to what COVID really was.
Right.
So it was more rather be safe than sorry. And I totally understand. Like, I understand why they did what they did. Um, it does suck though, because it's just like right in the middle of the season, especially spring, like senior spring. It really hurts. But right now, like I almost feel worse for freshmen than I do for our class, like my class,
Yeah.
because I got 3.5 years of normalcy and 3.5 years of traveling and going out socially. Like I got three and a
Right.
half years of that. Their whole first year, don't have any of that. And who knows how much longer this is going to last? Like, are they even going to get 2 years of normalcy? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Are they going to get one year of normalcy? So I feel horribly for them, and my heart goes out to them. But it's just, I think, hopefully in the future, my golf conference still isn't playing. Like my team hasn't played at all this year, and that just blows my mind. Like I feel horribly for them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, it's very unfortunate, and it was heartbreaking at the time, and it's still heartbreaking for athletes out there. Though they went to school. I mean, they went to school for their education, but they
Right.
really went to have this collegiate athlete experience as well, and that's not happening for them right now.
I don't know. It's an interesting kind of case. I guess the NCAA really doesn't know what to do.
Mhm.
Because obviously they want to have their student athletes play. And then whether that's granting, extra time to them, but you can't play collegiate golf forever. Like there was, people supposed to be getting signed and whatnot. And, some athletic departments, had budget cuts and
Yeah.
which that and the other had to cancel teams and say, oh, kids can't sign or they can't sign yet or whatever the case may be.
Oh,
Um, just not my school, but other schools around the country. And it's like, well, geez, what do you look forward to?
mhm.
Um, but did you get to, when you graduated, did you get to graduate in person or was it virtual or
So BU's commencement for my class hasn't even happened yet. Yeah, so
wow.
BU thought that we would be able to be in person in the fall, so we didn't have anything. I believe it depended on the school. So BU isn't liberal arts, or it's College of Communications, College of Business, like School of Business, School of Hospitality, School of all that stuff.
Right.
And some schools held something kind of
Right. Kind
online.
of like a virtual kind of
Yeah, kind of like a virtual thing, but BU as a university, we didn't have anything. Like we didn't do anything.
wow.
And they're still like, maybe in the spring we can do something for the seniors, but I doubt that's gonna happen. Because that's like two classes that have to have two different commencements. I don't know how that would work, but
Yeah.
I basically just got my diploma in the mail, and that was it. And I had to do my senior exit interview for BU athletics, and that was kind of like my
Right.
farewell. So it was, yeah, that didn't really not
Wow.
much happen for BU. Yeah.
That's crazy. So then you don't get a graduation or at least a graduation you thought you were gonna have.
Mhm.
I guess that's the perk for me, I guess, because school took so long and I'm still in school. Ugh.
Ugh.
I possibly might have a graduation. I don't know. Like they were supposed to have a winter graduation. They canceled like literally like 4 days before because the governor shut Maryland down again, which we should have saw coming and they shut
Yeah.
it down. So we might get one in the spring. Literally, I put this tweet out the other day as far as like my goals for next year.
Yeah.
And I was like, get a new car, get a new job, blah blah, and then graduate, but walk at graduation.
Walk to graduation. Yeah.
Like literally, I don't care if I gotta walk across a field, across the moon, across a road. I
Mhm.
want to put on a cap and gown and walk. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all I want in life.
I didn't even order a cap. Like I don't even have a cap and gown. I know.
Wow.
I
Because
know.
like our kids, some people ordered like cap and gowns because they just that's important to them.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know. I wanted to take like pictures of it even at my home, but my parents were like, just wait, just in case, you have a in-person.
Right. And
I want
I'm
to work
thinking
with.
about it too, because like I'm starting to like realize like I'm graduating in like another 4.5 months, I guess,
Oh,
whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
And I'm thinking graduation pictures, but I'm like, is it really safe to do so? But like, if we don't have a graduation, then what are the point of taking all these cool pictures? I don't know. It's a whole big mess, and it really
Yeah.
sucks for like the high school kids who didn't have prom and they dream of going to prom and they
God,
don't
yeah.
have prom,
Yeah.
and then graduation. The whole world's really messed up right now. It's
Yeah.
it's like a hot mess.
100%. 100%.
You get done kind of with the college thing, and it comes time for everybody's favorite thing, looking the last 2 months of college for a brand new job.
Oh, God.
And so kind of how'd that search go for you? You started off at one place and you're at another place now. And I guess tell us what you did.
Yeah. So I kind of figured out early second semester that because I kind of thought I was going to go back to Golf Channel, and I did have the opportunity after I graduated to go back, but some part of me was like, this just doesn't feel right. So I decided to go into the golf business, what I'm doing now. So basically, and this is full honesty, this is exactly what I did. This is very unordinary way of finding a job, but you know what? It worked. So I literally um, I kind of put all my favorite golf courses or any golf course that I would ever want to work at. I found the head pros email or the director of golf email. And I sent them an email of why I would want to work there, attached with my resume, and that was it. Like there wasn't even a spot open. They're like I
Right.
never applied for any job. I just I just emailed all of these courses like all over the country. There's one job that I did go through an application process for, but I just emailed all these places. And I will say, being a woman in the golf business, it's there's so many doors open. There's
There is.
so many courses that are looking for females, and so I will say I had a leg up in that sense. But it's really hard to find a job like freshly graduated with. I didn't major in anything PGA related. Like all I had under my belt was college golf and working at my dad's golf courses
Right.
in the Golf Channel. But so I emailed all these places, and I had quite a few yeses, quite a few job offers, and but I so my family being in Minnesota, I kind of wanted to be closer to them. I was like, I have 4 years away from them. Like, I really kind of want to be closer. This was pre-quarantine where I had to go home for a couple months. So,
Right.
but I had a couple in mind, and Whistling Straits was one of them. Whistling Straits is in Wisconsin, which is the next state over. And my dad's from Wisconsin. I have a lot of family in Wisconsin, so it was definitely high up on my list. And that 2020 was supposed to have the Ryder Cup, so I was like, this would be sick to work there.
Right.
I sent my email to the director of golf. Got an email back within 10 minutes. Can I call you tomorrow? And I was like, yeah.
Sure. You need to pick your time.
Sure, buddy. And I was emailing these courses saying I wanted to be an assistant golf professional, which
Right.
I was so ignorant at the time that is just asking for way too much right out of college.
Right.
But so I emailed him, and I was like, yeah, sure, we can talk tomorrow. So we talked on the phone, just a little bit about myself. He's like, yeah, we can probably figure this out. And he's like, yeah, I definitely think you need to go through the internship at Whistling Straits first, just to see how you do in the golf business and golf ops here. And then, if you do well in that, we can offer you an assistant job. And I was like, well, that's pretty cool. Like, I'll totally be into that. And he's like, yeah, we'll just, I'll get you an interview with the head pro when you're home for a winter break, and then we can see what happens from there. But it seems like you'd be a good fit. And I was like, really? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. So I go home for winter break. I have an interview with the head pro right after my interview. The interview lasted like 10 minutes. Right after the interview, he's like, yeah, so we'll offer you the job. And I was like, what?
Excuse you? Did you stutter?
I was like, okay, what? And he's like, yeah, I'll offer you the job. And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much. So I guess this was before first semester because it was winter break. And I was so excited because at the time I got an amazing job offer from an amazing golf course. And I turned it down because of location. I wanted to be closer to home. And I was like, I could have just turned down my only really good job offer.
Mm-hmm.
And then they offered me this job, and I was like, yes. So I was an intern there all summer in golf ops. So I worked in the golf shop doing regular old golf shop stuff behind the counter. And then I was in outside operations where I was at bag drop, practice range. I worked a lot with junior golf. And then they even trusted me to let me teach lessons at the end, which they don't let interns do. But
at a high-end kind of resort course like that, 9 out of 10 times, if you're not like in with like the head pro or director of golf and you have like the resume to back it, you're not touching one like person over the age of 16. You might get the juniors if you're lucky.
Exactly. And so I was shocked, but I kept getting hints that I would be getting offered the assistant job. And also, side note, there are about like 7 or 8 interns for Whistling Straits every year. So I was like, it's super fun. And it was an unreal experience working there. It is like, it's kind of like Golf Channel. Like, I don't feel like I'm working there. Like, it is so much fun. All the assistant pros are in their 20s and 30s. So like, we're all around the same age. We have a ball together. All the interns are, of course, my age. And so by the end of the season, they just kept saying like, yeah, you'll be a pro next year. You'll be a pro next year. But nobody like officially told me. And so finally, like my last day on the job, my head pro brings me into his office and he's like, so we want you as assistant pro next year. I was like, yes. Like I like actually celebrated. And he was like, yeah, whatever. But I'm officially going back next year as an assistant pro. I'm super, super excited. I'm hoping the Ryder Cup actually happens in 2021. That'd be great. But being an assistant pro at Whistling Straits at the age of 23, like I feel so
stupid.
Fun. Like it is awesome. It is so much fun.
So and it leads you kind of to a case where if anybody doesn't know where Wisconsin is, it's like kind of like middle of the country of the United States, but north.
Way up there.
Like y'all get snow in the winter. So That
Well,
means there's no possible way he could be there right
yeah.
now.
Yep, no golf in winter. So I kind of originally thought maybe I'd stay up there in the winter and just find a different job so I wouldn't have to. Because the one thing was seasonal. I was scared to move back and forth. Like I thought I like mentally could not do that, and
Hmm.
physically like or financially could not do that. And so, but then near the end of the season, I was like, no, I need to be working year round in golf. Like I got to do this. And so this is how I got this job, which is also very unusual, but it worked for me. I Googled best golf courses in Florida and I went through the list and I emailed all the directors of golf or head professionals with an email and my resume. It's like the same thing with whistling. I got a lot of offers then too. It was great. And then this place called Coral Creek Club kept like sneaking in there. Like it's not a very well known club, but
Right,
whenever I would Google best clubs in Florida, this thing would pop up, and I'm like, I've just never heard of this place. And
right,
I would do more and more research. And so when I emailed them, so at the time the head pro was actually retiring, so the general manager was like, I'll be doing the application process for this. Like, since the head pro is retiring, he won't choose. Like, I
right,
will. And the general manager and I had so much in common. Like there were so many ties that we had in life. His mentor was also my dad's mentor, which is crazy. Like it in the golf world, like it is
Oh yeah, the golf world is, people say it's like huge, but no, you can go like three or four people and somebody will know somebody that you know.
exactly. It was so cool. And so the interview process with him was awesome. And they were like, yeah, because I was just thinking I would be an intern somewhere else because that's where a lot of the clubs in Florida were offering me as well. They're like, yeah, we can have you an intern, whatever. And then this place was like, we want you as an assistant pro. And I was like, well, hello. And so it was awesome. They trusted me so much. They're like, yeah, we understand that you don't have as much experience, but the fact that you're young, you have that personality that like people gravitate to, like you're really outgoing. This is exactly what we need at this course. And like the ladies have been begging for a female pro for forever. And so I was like, okay, this sounds great. And it ended up being like a perfect fit. Like I've been here 2 months now, a little over 2 months at Coral Creek Club. And it's just in Southwest Florida. The members are awesome. It's a private club, so it's literally the exact opposite of whistling. It is
Right,
the exact opposite. But it has been awesome. I give a lot of lessons. I help a lot with tournaments and day-to-day operations. It's a lot more hours, but it's definitely worth it. And I feel
yeah.
like I'm really accomplishing something for the club the best that I can. So that's cool.
And how was that kind of relationship between having kind of a northern course in the country that's a public, world renowned resort, and coming into a private setting that you've kind of never really done? What's that switch over like?
It's definitely it's fascinating to see the difference because I kind of wanted to do the opposite of whistling just to see which one I would like and like which one I connect with more. And I feel like I connect with both in completely different ways. Like I love having resort type and meeting different people every day, and it's just like so many people all the time. It's like such good courses, and it's like the destination place to be. My coworkers are awesome. I have so many coworkers up there. And I go down here, I have like 3 coworkers, and I see the same people every day. But like you build relationships down here with your members, when up there you build a relationship with your coworkers and your guests, and it's just really cool. And they're both totally different, but I think both. I think everybody who's in the golf business needs to experience both just because there's so much that you can take away from resort type that you can bring to private. There's so much from
Right,
private you can bring to resort type, and it's been awesome. It's really cool. And this course in Florida, the Coral Creek Club was just recently renovated too. They redid everything, like new grass, new bunkers. Like the place was dirt a couple months
right,
ago. Now it's completely redone, and it is now being called the hidden gem of Florida. Like people are starting to obsess over this place. So
right,
I've been seeing it grow so much so quickly. And now we have David Ledbetter too as our lead instructor. So we have that big name. And so
right.
we've gotten 50 new members this year. And before we had like 100 members. So we
Right.
literally
And
are
I
up
guess the
so
kind of the whole COVID thing, being quarantined and people
yeah.
locked up for months, it helps. Like I was went to my first private course this past summer, and it was the first time
Mhm.
I've ever done private.
Oh yeah.
Um, the rounds off the charts. People are wanting lessons left and right. Junior camps was off the charts,
Oh
you
awesome.
know. But I think kind of that gives people more of a kind of a take to want to try something new. And
Absolutely.
have you seen that at your course or?
Yeah. So a lot of our new members are just like, we haven't had anything else to do. Like we wanted to play golf. Like we wanted to do something, and so they took up golf and they fall in love with it, and then they decide they want to join a club. And Coral Creek Club is kind of like the place to be in this area of Florida, and so we've gotten a lot of new awesome members. Like the membership is really really cool. There's some big names in there, and there's also some people that you would never think would join the club. Like it is
Right.
such a cool variety of people, and they're all so nice, so welcoming. But they love, like they will golf at that golf course every single day and
Okay.
be so happy. Like they will just, they just every day they're like, yep, I'm gonna go golf. Yep, I'm gonna go Coral Creek Club. Coral Creek. I'm like,
Right.
I love golf with all of my whole heart, but I cannot golf every day. But these
Right.
people
Because you know,
love
every day at 2 p.m., Mr. and Mrs. Smith are coming down from the house.
exactly. Yep,
Just load the bags
exactly.
up on the cart. Here they come.
Yep, exactly. Did you like the private club life? Like how was because
I did. I worked for the Peninsula Golf and Country Clubs owned by Troon Privé, which is like the upper scale of Troon management. I loved it. Two of our alums worked there. And so it was like right around school. Obviously, with the whole
Mhm.
coronavirus thing going on, I didn't want to travel anywhere too crazy.
Yeah.
Then again, I didn't need to because all my technical internship time with PGA of America was already done. So I was just kind of doing something to keep me busy because everybody knows I just can't sit down and stay still for more than
Yeah.
like 5 minutes. So went down there, did the whole inside kind of assistant golf professional role. Inside, did merchandising tournaments and some junior camps and whatnot, a little bit of instruction, and did a whole bunch of social media for the club, which kind of helped the club out in itself. But yeah, I went down there, had a blast, learned a whole bunch. I realized like what I like and what I don't like about the private industry, and I've done the
Absolutely.
same thing with like a public, and I've done the same thing with the high end resorts. So
Absolutely.
it kind of, you get and pick and choose on what you like, and then obviously I've done like media internships, so I've kind of done the whole scale of like everything now that I felt like I've wanted to do. Um,
Mhm.
and now going into like the spring semester, figuring out like where I'm going to be afterwards,
Mhm.
and what I want to do. I've kind of found a niche for, what I want to do. So it's just a
Absolutely.
matter of
Yeah, because you
fact.
have a new internship coming up, right?
All right, I do have a new internship. I start in like 20 something days. Today is what, the 24th? I think I start on like the 16th. I'm going to be at Golf Digest,
Oh, that's
um,
so cool.
based in Maryland, all virtual. So that's like the perk. That's the perk of like coronavirus. Like all these internships are virtual, kind of makes the scale higher for you, as far as like people applying or students applying, because you
Absolutely.
can basically be anywhere. But um, obviously, I've been in like media for a little bit, and I have some connections and whatnot, and so that's kind of how I got the job. And I
Mhm.
was like, oh, I'm not going to get it. Um, but sat down with one person, and one person fires off email to another person, and then that was like 4 or 5 minutes of that, and they were like, "Yeah, we're about to hire like an intern, and we kind of were dead set on intern, but we really like you, so let's hire you." I was like,
Oh my gosh.
so that's kind of how it happened. So I'll
Oh,
be at Golf Digest in their digital content department.
that's
Um,
awesome. That is so
Starting
cool.
in January. I'm super, super excited. So I went from like the biggest kind of golf media network in like the world to like the biggest golf magazine in the
Yeah.
world.
Dude, your resume
Um,
is absolutely stacked.
and people, it's crazy because you say that, because I think it's just not that good. I think it's like,
Ah,
it's okay. And people tell me, it's like, oh, it's really, really good. You're all like, I don't know. I just don't think about myself in that way. Like, not saying that I'm not like a positive person. I don't
mhm.
believe in myself, but I always think there's like more to do,
Oh,
and
that's good though.
there's
Yeah.
like more to climb and more to reach for. So I don't
Absolutely.
know. I kind of just take it a step at a time. But I'm
Yeah.
excited. We'll see what happens with the whole coronavirus, and if we go back to school in January. No, hey, at least I got something to do for 4 months before I
Heck
graduate.
yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
awesome. That is so cool.
I don't know, but it's been a good time as far as like college and whatnot,
Yeah.
and kind of like the golf scene. But kind of what really led you to kind of making that switch from like being in broadcast to kind of like being on the golf ops? Because that's like a weird switch, and I had that a problem originally. I was like, okay, like I said earlier in the podcast, I'm gonna go to golf school first, basically get my
Mhm.
bachelor's, and then get into the journalism world. And then unless you're competing at a journalism school up against like sports journalism majors to get into like these major golf brands and companies, you're kind of easy. But for me, being a golf professional first and then trying to get into it, like how was that for you making that switch?
It was like I don't love broadcast journalism any less than I did when I started
Right.
my major and everything like that. It was just um I being in college golf and traveling to all these different golf courses and really getting to see so many different operations and being a part of different operations, I saw there was such a need for women in golf. And it's not like that I took it upon myself like, yeah, I'm gonna change the world with women's golf. I just thought, I think if I can make it better somehow at some course and have some more female presence, that I will do it. Because like I said, I'm very comfortable in golf operations. I grew up watching it with my dad, and I love every second of it. And broadcast journalism, it was just more. I do love it, but it's a different environment than what see myself in right now, I
Right.
guess. And there's so much of a climb in broadcast journalism. Like
Oh yeah.
I mean, it is a cutthroat business, and I am very competitive. Like I've been an athlete my entire life, and I love, cutthroat. But at the same time, I could see a future in the golf business that I could really climb, like not easier, but like with my experience and with my passion and love and my in my knowledge with the game of golf. I just thought, like, you know what, I love this so much. I see no negatives with this. With broadcast
Yeah.
journalism, there's still a couple of things that I was like, I'm not too sure. But with the golf ops, I was like, I really want to get more involved. Like, I really want to make a difference the best I can. And I knew that that was what I wanted to do. And I love instruction. Like, I love running tournaments, and I love meeting new people and talking about golf and all that stuff. And I love it very, very much. And I love broadcast journalism too, but there's just, every aspect of the golf world I love. I mean, being a woman in the golf business is also really hard at the same time. Like, you do get a
Yeah.
lot more doors open, but the things that are said to you on
Oh,
a daily basis are
I've
just,
heard.
it's a little hard. But I take
But
it.
I find it funny that you get into this industry because a lot of my colleagues are females
Mhm.
that are getting into this industry, and they hear the same things. But
Yeah.
then when you step on the first tee and you swing a golf club or you swing a club and you can hit it 260 exactly down the middle of the fairway, then they just shut up and they can't say anything. I was like, okay, what do you have to say now?
Yeah.
It's
It's really hard for me not to, because I am super competitive. So like if a guy ever talks down on me because I'm a girl, I just want to be like, bro, I could beat you so easily.
right.
But I'm just like, I have to, get my
Hold it
composure
in,
and
keep it
stuff,
together.
really hold it in, and then I'll just, go to the range or something and hit a couple balls and be like, look at that. And then like,
Right. It's like, is that
but
the same?
yeah,
That's what I thought.
yeah, it's just it's I get one of my coworkers who I love dearly at Whistling Straits, like, oh, we just do banter all the time. He says, you know what golf stands for? Gentlemen only, ladies forbidden. I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh
Like, he says it,
no.
like, he said we play against each other all the
Right.
time. So like we love crap talking each other, but it's just one of those things where I don't think in my lifetime I will see it um get where it needs to be with when it comes to women's and men's golf, but I would love to see it improve, and I would love to see more female presence in the golf business. It's really, really hard to live with what you get told a lot, what is
Right.
said to you, but at the same time, you hear the ladies feel like you are changing like you are making this so much better. Like, I'm so happy that you're here, and it's just like so worth it. It is so, so worth it.
So for like a high school golfer or kind of like a young golfer, a junior golfer kind of coming through the ranks, high school, getting into college, wanting to play either collegiate golf or any sport for that matter, what is kind of your advice to them?
Absolutely. So I played a bunch of other sports before I started playing golf. So when I got into high school is when I only started to play golf. And I don't know if anybody that listens to this is into astrology or anything like that, but I am
I have friends that are in here astrology.
okay. So I'm not super into it, but I know what being a Capricorn means. And so I'm a Capricorn. I'm also type A. Like, I'm a type 3 enneagram. Like, I'm literally very goal oriented, very career driven. So when I was a freshman, I started emailing golf coaches. And I think that's the best advice I can give. Start emailing golf coaches as early as you possibly can. I see so many good golfers not reaching out to coaches, and they wait till late in the game, and it's just too late. Like,
Right.
they can't offer you anything until you're a junior. I think that's still the rule. Maybe
I think that's right.
yeah. So they can't offer you anything till you're a junior, but if you reach out to them, then you're on their mind. You're on their radar. They know to look into you, and that's what I did. And that was honestly the best thing I could have done, because a lot of my friends, they emailed so late. They were just like, I already have people in mind. I already have these spots taken. Like, I'm sorry,
Right.
but
But I guess that comes with like a word of caution. That doesn't mean
yeah,
email them 50
heck
times.
no, yeah,
Don't do that. Like
don't
maybe
annoy
one
them.
like maybe once or twice, like, hey, if you're in a
Yeah,
school year, email once or twice, like, hey, if you're
exactly.
in the area, like look at their schedule and say, like, hey,
Mhm.
if you're gonna be like, I live in Maryland, like, hey, if you're gonna be in the Maryland area coming to play a tournament, hey, see if you can come, like put it out there,
Exactly.
but make sure you do your prep work so when they come to visit you, or if they send somebody in their place to come visit you, it's worth the trip.
Exactly. Yeah. Don't annoy them. Don't email them after every tournament like, hey, this is what I shot. This is what I shot. Like,
Trust
check
me,
it
they will
every.
find you.
Yeah, they will look into your stats. They know everything before you tell them. Like, the second you email them, they do all their research first. Like, that is just how it is. But I definitely recommend emailing sooner rather than later for that. And other than that, it's just, golf is such a mental game, and this is for every sport. Like, you get discouraged really easily when things don't go your way, but it's just, if you put in that hard work and you put in that effort and you actually, this sounds so cheesy, and I'm not a cheesy person, but honestly, if you believe in yourself that you can do it, then it's just going to be a lot easier for you, because I see so many people with so much potential just not see it for themselves, not believe in themselves so that they could be a collegiate athlete, when I know, I'm like, you have that talent, you have that skill, you can accomplish that. And they're just like, they just don't think they can, but they easily could. So I just think, believe in yourself, put in that hard work, and then email coaches early. And that's honestly the best advice I can give.
Hmm. So what kind of advice for people that are looking to kind of get into the internship world, or possibly just any internship, getting to the broadcast journalism world? Kind of what's your advice to them if they're, they're unsure about getting into the industry
Mhm.
of broadcast and journalism? Kind of what's your advice to them?
So I would try to involve yourself with any programs you could at school, like any clubs or anything that deal with radio or broadcast or anything like that, to see if you like it in the first place. And if you start to get in a little groove with that, then look into internships. First of all, you'll have that experience on your resume, so it'll look better for internships. But if you want to like dip your toe in the water, luckily my school had a broadcast major, and so I started taking classes in that, and I was like, yo, this is what I love. I'm going to apply for internships. But yeah, just see if you're comfortable with it. It is definitely not for everybody. Like, being in the broadcast journalism world or any media at all is very,
It's a very hard world. I
it
think,
is.
especially now today with kind of coronavirus happening and everybody learning how to edit and film
Oh yeah.
and shoot a full show from top to bottom in your house. It's making the world a lot more competitive.
Hell yeah.
So I would say definitely, along with what you're saying, be kind of open to roles. Don't
Mhm.
be one-sided in what you want to do. If you want to be in broadcast journalism and you want to talk, like, yeah, get used to interviewing people and asking questions and thinking ahead, like 10 steps ahead of people, but also be a good writer, be a good person
Mhm.
that's good with social media.
Mhm.
Watch what you put on social media, because it all will come back further down the road of how you treat people. It's like the golf industry. It's very big, but then again, it's very small, because every year the PGA show happens in Orlando. This year it's not happening. It's going to be online. So, the whole golf world shows up to that one event. It's the same way for broadcast journalism,
Mhm.
or for journalism that matters. Different organizations that represent different types of people, from whether you're Caucasian or you're gay or you're black or whatever the case may be. And there's an organization that kind of represents you, and they
Mhm.
all talk to each other, whether you like it or not. So I would just say always be on kind of your heads and toes and always put on your best performance when it comes to kind of being in school.
Absolutely.
That's what I
Yeah.
would say. But we're wrapping up. I have like a few more questions before we go. Um, how'd you kind of come up with the nickname Abby Pars? I just think it's the coolest thing ever.
Oh my God. Yeah. So I honestly, when I started creating social media, my mom, a lot of parents are very paranoid about that stuff. They're like, don't put your name in social media, like people will find you. So originally I was Golfer Girl 97. So that was my original Twitter and everything.
Right.
But finally when I was like, Mom, everyone's literally using their name. Like, let me do this. I'm just gonna change it. She's like, fine, whatever, not your full name. I was like, okay, sure. And so I was like, okay, I'll do Abby Parsons, or because my last name is Parsons. And I was like, wait, Pars is literally in my last name.
Great. And you
So,
golf.
yeah, and I golf. And so I was like, this is perfect. Every single social media, every single account of mine is now Abby underscore Pars or just Abby Pars. And I always make a joke. I will not change my last name when I get married unless his last name is Birdieson. So then it's Abby underscore Birdies. But yeah, it is.
That's perfect.
Everybody calls me Abby Pars. My head pro here, his emails to me are just like, "Hi, Abby Pars." Like, it's just, that's what it is. That's how it's gonna be. I love it. I think it's hilarious, and it's definitely a good nickname, I would say, for me.
Now, I know you get this question like, I don't know, maybe 5 or 7 times a week. Are you related to Bob Parsons in PXG golf?
So I do get asked that quite often. I do have an uncle, Bob Parsons. Literally, my uncle, Bob Parsons. Unfortunately, it is not the Bob Parsons of PXG. I do like to play pranks on people that just meet me, and I'm like, yeah, my uncle is Bob Parsons. But no, I'm not related to the Bob Parsons of PXG. PXG, great clubs, but I'm going to be on staff with Ping.
And I was
Sorry.
just about to ask you, like, what clubs are like currently in your bag?
Currently, I still have my 7-year-old AP2s as my irons. I didn't change them all through college, but I have a Ping driver, the G410 driver and hybrid and 5-wood. And then I have a Scotty putter, Volky wedges, and then the AP2s. That's my bag right now. Eventually, soon, it will be all Ping because I will be on staff with Ping. But yeah, that's what I have right now. No PXG.
Well, congratulations on the staff deal. Cause I know like anybody's like, if you're in the golf industry, like your dream is like get a good, well-paying job and then get a staff deal so you don't have to pay for balls, golf clubs, or gloves.
Mm-hmm.
That's like anybody's dream. That's like, and if they can pay for your PGA dues, that's like a perk too. So like, congratulations on the staff deal. That's super big. I would say also welcome to the PGA family officially, because you've officially started your journey, which is super, super cool. I know I mentioned it to like a year and a half ago. I was like, hey, if you ever want to get golf at you, like, here's the links. Like, here it is.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, like 7 months later, you're started already. So I hope like your journey is smooth. It's not too crazy. And when you get down to the PGA show, hopefully not this year, but next year, when everything kind of clears up, we can like see each other. We can play some golf.
Heck yeah.
But
If you're ever in Wisconsin or Florida, come play my course.
Well, you know I don't do cold. I don't do cold. So like I'll come to Florida, but I'm not doing cold.
I understand.
But we're coming in. I like to end the interview super like kind of relaxed and to make you think on your toes again.
Oh boy.
I do my fast 5. I give you 5 questions that you haven't seen beforehand that only I know. And you can give me your answers.
Okay.
Cool. First question. Favorite golf course?
Favorite golf course I've ever played? Whistling Straits. It tops it all.
Simple. Yep. What is an unusual fact about you?
An unusual fact about me. I am a right-hand dominant lefty, so I'm supposed to be righty in everything that I do, but I swing everything left-handed because I love to be counterculture. No, I'm just kidding. It's just natural to me.
Nice. What is your dream foursome, dead or alive?
Okay. Okay. Me, obviously I'm there. Jordan Spieth, Phil Mickelson. Got to get some lefty representation in there. Oh my gosh, I would love to play with Tiger, but I think, you know what? I think I'll do Tiger. I'll have 2 young guns, me and Jordan, and then Phil and Tiger. I think that would be awesome.
That's a good one. And do you know where you play?
obviously my life goal is to play Augusta National. But yeah, I mean, ooh, you know what? I'm dropping Tiger. I'm putting Annika in there. I need some more female representation. Also, she's the goat. So I would
Yeah,
love
that's
to
a
have,
solid pick.
yeah, Annika, Phil, and Jordan at Augusta National. Sign me up.
Sorry, Tiger, you
Sorry,
can
Tiger.
come the next time. But I
Yeah.
honestly think I'm just gonna say it now. I think it's gonna be before we get like to the age of 40, which like y'all can do the math. It's her birthday. You can figure out how many years that's gonna
Woo!
be. I think females are gonna be playing at Augusta National as far as like a major and event, just not outside of the women's amateur. I can't remember the acronym for them. It's like the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Yes, I
Yep.
do.
Yeah.
ANWA. It's
Yeah.
the week before the um, drive, chip, and putt that the Masters puts on.
Mhm.
So I think they're going to be playing a major there. It's just going to be time. I think it's right, especially with everything that's going on nowadays. It's a matter of time. So hopefully, we can see you there, possibly playing or working the events or whatever the case may be. But the last question I have for you: describe your life in one word.
Oh wow, that's tough. Um, I would honestly say, hmm, I'm honestly gonna say exciting. I know that's really lame, but
No, that's a good one.
I feel like there's so much in the future that I see myself doing and accomplishing, and I think every day I learn something new, and every day is exciting for me. So I'm gonna go with exciting. My jobs are both exciting. I work at super cool places, so yeah, exciting.
Hmm. And I guess kind of now that we're done with like the fast five, where do you see yourself like 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh boy. I would love to be a head professional at a really top tier, well-known club. That would be awesome. But I kind of want to be well known in the instruction world as a female pro. Like, I would really like to be like one of those where when you think about female golf and female instruction, you're like
Abby
Abby
Pars.
Parr. And that's a really lofty goal, really, really lofty, like really lofty for 10 years. But I think
Oh,
I
nah, I think we can get there.
thank
It'll
you.
fly.
That's
It'll
that's it.
fly.
That's the goal.
Good deal. So I think kind of like the most important thing out of like this whole conversation, where can the good people find you and connect with you on social media?
Well, as you have heard, Abby Pars is the name. But yeah, so Instagram, Twitter, all that fun stuff is Abby_Pars. And then I believe LinkedIn is just Abby Parsons. We don't have a username for LinkedIn, right?
I
It's
don't
just
think we
name.
do.
I hope
Not
not.
not unless you're kind of like www.linkedin.com/. Abby Pars is like
Yeah.
your actual name. You can probably change it, probably fix that.
It's Abby Parsons. That's it. But I was
So
just
you can find her on LinkedIn at Abby Parsons. Um, but yeah, thanks for spending your birthday with me. It's been a blast. I know you're incredibly busy, so thanks for like spending the last, I don't know, hour with me. Super cool. We'll do it again. And best of luck to you the rest of the kind of winter season coming into the spring. And yeah,
thank you so
that's
much for
it.
having me. No, thank you. That was awesome. I had so much fun. Thank you.
All right. I'll see you later, Abby.
Alrighty.
Thanks for listening to my episode and my conversation with Abby Parsons. She had a really great birthday, and I was really, really glad she was able to join me on the show. Before we go, check out my other podcast, Talk of the Shore. It's a Maryland Eastern Shore Hawks athletics inspired podcast where we get to sit down with my co host, Raylan Warlaw, and we get to know the coaches and the players behind the jersey and off the field of play. It's available in an audio version and on YouTube. Just search hashtag Talk Shore or Talk of the Shore podcast. Next week, we got another great episode, so make sure you tune in next Tuesday because you don't want to miss it. Connect with me on social media. I'm at Langston Frazier on Twitter. And let me know who you want to hear from next and what topics you want me to cover. There's a lot going on in the industry and a bunch to talk about. use the hashtag TLFSPod. And don't forget to subscribe, comment, and rate. And most importantly, don't forget to share the podcast. You can find the Langston Fraser Show podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn Radio, Google, Anchor, along with so many more platforms. So subscribe today wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Just search up the hashtag TLFSPod or the Langston Fraser Show podcast. Until next time, I'm your host, Langston Frazier. Stay safe, stay healthy, practice safe social distancing, wear a mask, and wash your hands. And we'll see you back here for another episode of The Langston Frazier Show.